This is module number 2, The Must of Hitting, produced by Chelsea Hawkins for my internship in EDET 650. In this module, the must of hitting will be covered. This is produced as a movie, so you may press pause at any time if you need more time to read or watch a slide. This is meant to be self-paced, so you may also rewind or fast forward as needed. Even though some of the most successful hitters in the world are very different, there are many things that they do the same. I like to call these the must of hitting, because these fundamentals are what allow the best hitters to be successful. You will notice in the presentation that the pictures and videos are a range of athletes. This is to show their similarities and slight differences. Just like we talked about in Module 1, there is no one right start position. The most important aspect about the start position is that the hitter is comfortable and athletic. You will notice that Derek Jeter, the picture on the left, is in a pretty standard position. Kelly Kretschmann on the right is in a very slim open stance. Remember, we talked about a regular and open stance in module number 1. Notice their hand, arms, and bat position are in a fairly similar position. The back elbow is up, the front elbow is down, and the bat is around a 45-degree angle. Therefore, these are two very successful athletes, but they have different styles of start positions. The load and transition are two very important parts of the swing. The load is the negative move away from the pitcher and towards the catcher. Note, if the athlete is not centered and starts with all of their weight on their back leg, then they will not be able to achieve a load. It is important because it gets the body moving, so our transition to the ball can be more efficient. The analogy I like to use is a car sitting still versus a car that is already rolling. If a car was sitting still and you tried to push it, you probably wouldn't be very successful. But if it was already rolling, then it would probably be easy to push. Secondly, the load allows us to build up momentum into our backside, so we can then redirect it to where the pitch is. Being able to direct our weight towards the pitch is what I call the transition. We have to be careful in the transition to not allow ourselves to lean forward. We must stay centered and stay behind the ball. Thirdly, the load serves as a timing mechanism which gets the hitter in sync with the pitcher. Besides seeing the ball, timing is the most important part of our swing because if we are not on time, then it does not matter how good our swing looks. Hitters' timing will differ. This all depends on their type of load and the time it takes to get to the money position after the load. We will discuss timing related to the load in the next slide. Here you will see Big Papi on the left and Lauren Chamberlain on the right. While watching Big Papi, you will notice that he brings his front leg up really high during the load. With Lauren, you will notice that her load is very quick. She loads her weight back just as much as Big Papi does, except her front foot never leaves the ground. Therefore, Big Papi's load and transition will take a little bit longer than Lauren's would. Again, very different styles of load, but they are both achieving an efficient and powerful load and transition. The money position, as I like to call it, is the position we hope to achieve after the load and transition. Some things we want to look for in this position are our front foot should be at around 45-degree angle, the knob of the bat is facing the catcher, our head and eyes are square on the ball, our knees are bent, the front hip is slightly starting to open but has not fully opened. The weight is on the inside of each foot. And our hands are still back, so not moving forward as soon as the front foot hits the ground, which a lot of hitters tend to do. This allows for what I like to call the rubber band effect. If you imagine one end of a rubber band on your front knee and the other one on the knob of the bat, you will see that the further those two can work away from each other, the tighter the rubber band, which is your core, will be. This allows for an efficient, quick, and powerful swing. At connection, the back elbow is connecting to the body. This movement should not be forced, it is almost falling into place. The hips are continuing to slightly rotate, but still have not rotated completely. The front leg should still be bent, allowing for an efficient transition towards the ball. If the front leg locks out too soon, then all of our weight will be on the back leg, which will then create a spin motion. You will notice in the next picture that at connection, the hitter's hands are still deep and behind the ball. It is important we work behind the ball before actually working to it. I know a common saying for hitting is knob to the ball, but if a hitter takes their hands directly towards the ball, then they will not be very powerful and will create a swing where they can only use their wrist. And we want to be able to use our whole body for power. Think about it. We don't hit the ball with our knob, we hit it with our barrel. Once we have achieved connection, our hands and body have become one. Therefore, we can use our body to supply the power and control. When getting to contact, our backside is driving in the direction of the ball. If the weight is on the inside of your back foot, then you will give yourself a leverage to push against and direct your momentum towards the ball. I like to think about this as not letting my pinky toe touch the ground, which will then force the weight to the inside of your back foot. If the weight is not on the inside of the back foot, then the hitter will more than likely squash the bug, which I'm sure most of you have heard, and that is what we do not want. If we squash the bug or spin on our back foot, then we are creating a spin swing around the ball instead of a direct, powerful swing to the ball. Also, from connection to contact, the front leg is staying slightly bent, allowing for control and a strong base. At contact, the head should be down directly on the ball that is being hit. Both arms are still slightly bent and the back arm is still connected to the body. This will allow for extension, which we will talk about in the next slide. The shoelaces of the back foot are facing the pitcher, or more specifically, the direction of the pitch in which the hitter has just hit. The hitter's chest must still be closed and in the area of the pitch. For example, a right-handed hitter's chest should not be facing left field if they are hitting an outside pitch. At contact, the body or weight is centered and behind the ball. Therefore, the back leg is bent and the front leg has now straightened out. After contact, we must stay on plane of the pitch, which is called extension. I like to tell hitters to imagine 3 more balls out in front of the one they just hit, and they would want to hit all 4 balls. Extension allows for control of the pitch and power throughout the swing. During extension, the body almost has a split second where it stops rotating in order to allow the hitter's hands to work towards the big part of the field. If the shoulders and body keep rotating away from the pitch, this will cause the hitter to pull off of the pitch, resulting in a weak hit. To achieve extension, it is really important that we think about our back shoulders and our wrist, allowing our barrel to stay on plane and work towards the middle of the field. Therefore, the top hand should always remain facing up and the bottom hand should remain facing down. This concludes module number 2. Please stay tuned for module number 3. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below in the comment section.